Guys, what's up? I've got a spoiler for you. It's courtesy of Yistout. Thank you for providing me with this spoiler. I've got a few decks that we can maybe slot it into, and I just thought the spoiler is pretty interesting. You guys have probably seen them talk about the hero format. They had another link where starting to explain how they planned on making hero synergize with things and etc. It'll be exciting to see what further cards they do with it. For now, we've gotten like a Doomblade and a very overcosted reanimation. Not even reanimation, an overcosted like draw units from your void spell. I'm happy to show that there is more to the hero rabbit hole. So I guess I'll stop screwing around and I'll show you the spoiler here. Let's get this blown up here. Salta Ambassador. When you play a hero, draw a card. Straightforward. A couple things we can dive into here. One, speaking of one, it's a 1/1. So really not what you want to see from this. If I was to compare this to like the Marius Mandrake, like when it came out, it was a 0/4. You know, that thing was not dying to anything. This guy, you blink at him, he's dead. So what that kind of tells me is it's going to be challenging to count on Zoltan Ambassador as like an all-in strategy. Part of the reason why even-handed Golem is able to function as a 1/1 is that it's already gotten its effect when it's entered the field, and then you chump block with it, or you devour it, or whatever. With Zoltan Ambassador, you actually kind of want this to stick around, and being a 1/1 probably won't make that happen. But there are other things we can dive into about this, and there's certainly some synergy decks you can make with this. Your opponent's not going to have the removal all of the time, so let's take a look. It's a Yeti. So potentially, you know, in my mind, the first place we could go to take a peek at is a Yeti List. So I just kind of, you know, I went ahead and I sorted by heroes and Yetis, and I just looked to see like what all of the cards were that were Yetis and see how we can push this. And from like the mid-game standpoint, we actually get some cool stuff. Early on, we have Daru Lee and Kazuo, probably being the only like really playable 1-drops. I have a feeling if you were trying to put Zoltan Ambassador in Yetis, you would just play the standard like 1-drop spam into like champion, and then let these heroes be your top end. So we get Crunch, we get Pock, with Pock actually being interesting because you could combo a bunch of card draws with Zoltan Ambassador. Unfortunately, there's not any other Yetis that have Bond and Hero, or potentially you could get a lot of like cycle draws going through. Wump, of course, is a hero with that new fancy art you get from pre-ordering. Bam is a hero, albeit maybe not the best card for like a Yeti mid-range or aggro deck, but it's had its moments in the past where Bam was just some decks have their only win con hiding in the market, and this card can stop that. Chunk. Kind of a goofy card, probably not using the renown here at all. But summon, stun a unit, pledge, not the worst thing, especially considering the synergy with Zoltan Ambassador. And then Kenna as the honorary Dragon Shaman Yeti, because she's removal. Other things to keep in mind, like let's say you're going more aggressive, both, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but Jack and Milos, they're both heroes. So you could do this, like you could just put Zoltan Ambassador in like a Skycrag like mid-range deck, or Skycrag aggro, I mean. There's even you even get Vadius, so really not bad. Also, if you're able to ultimate any of the sites and like go all the way through, all of the units that come out of them are heroes, so that's interesting. But you know, that's if you want to go all in on like Yetis. So that's one way to look at it. Another thing that kind of piqued my interest is a lot of stealth units are also heroes. So I just went ahead and took all of the good heroes that have stealth, this is basically just all of the units that have stealth and have hero. They're all pretty solid, with Elding maybe being the worst just in this style of deck. But we could play Salta Ambassador, and we could play Ring of Glamour, and we could have 8 2-drops that come down and curve into all of our 3s that will all draw us a card. So this was kind of deck idea number 2. I would pick a faction to not have if you chose to do this. So you have to pick Justice or Shadow. And whichever one you pick, you'll cut out. You could just do all of them. Justice would give you Kai, Keiko, and Jada, whereas Shadow gives you the better top end in Rania and like Elding. Or I'm sorry, Azindel. And then you could do Sindar if you wanted to, but you would probably just nix it entirely and maybe play some more reanimation or some removal to get back your Zoltan Ambassador. So that was kind of the second place I took it. The third place is a little more open-ended. Zoltan Ambassador is an even card, so of course I had to make at least one even deck, just to kind of showcase that it is in fact even. We've got the usual suspects here. This is basically an even moon like burn deck, but you could kind of build this however you wanted. Like, there's so many good even cards. I think I talked about Kenna earlier. You could like play Kennas, and you could play Howling Peaks and stuff, and just slap Zoltan Ambassador in there. Now, just because you can do that doesn't mean it's good, but it is an option. I feel like this might be one of the more competitive even options. I'm certainly playing some cards that really aren't the most competitive. I just wanted to include a lot of the heroes. This is probably not going to be what a final deck would look like, but I just wanted to get it started and show some potential brewing options. Maybe this is where I'll start at once the set comes out and I get a chance to finally brew with this card. So typical Moon shenanigans. The only, interestingly enough, the only card from like the Moon deck that doesn't have hero is Black Sky Harbinger. So you can build like you're basically playing the entire, removal package minus Black Sky Harbinger, and you could even put it in your market and just like broker it in if you wanted to, or Vine Grafter for it, and have access to an extra way to just draw cards when you play all your guys. Now, honestly, I don't think this deck needs more card draw, but it's greedy and it's great and it's hilarious. There's also that new 4-drop you could slide in that'll shrink units' healths and shrink their power. Another interesting tech card that maybe this deck would want. So I think that's enough blathering on about Zoltan Ambassador. I'd say it's probably like a 6 or so out of 10. You really have to go hard on it to make it work. It's probably a draft card, honestly. But if you go all in, maybe there's enough synergy. If they're giving us more heroes in this next set, there might be maybe something that unlocks this card. For now, no, it seems a little sus. You could try and like curl juggle it, which is kind of suspect. Or, like I mentioned before, you could just use Last Chance, so if they kill it, you can bring it back one time. And I guess the other last way you could do to bring it back is there's the 4-drop flyer. Let's pull it up here. Where is it? Memory Dredger. So you can Memory Dredge Zoltan Ambassador. Whether or not that's something you want to be doing and is going to win you a game is entirely up for debate. But I thought it was funny. Oh yeah, and in this deck I filled in a market just with some top end stuff. You could use Vara, Reality Breaker, Eileen, Nightmaw, Kaifus. Like, there's a lot of really big, thick hero cards. Another card that kind of jumped out to me that was interesting that it was a hero. Felrock is a hero, and Elding is a hero. So you could use those guys and play like a discard shell and use Salta Ambassador to draw cards. Is that good? I don't know. But it is a synergy, and it's worth talking about. I hope to be live this weekend playing the event. Check that out. Once again, I want to thank Yistout for giving me a chance to spoil a card. I've been saving all of my dust to create my own card one of these days. And I look forward to doing that and seeing you all around. If you're not on my Discord, go ahead and hop in my Discord. If you could subscribe to me on YouTube, that would be very helpful. Trying to hit some goals here, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Hoping I can do it. There will be more Eternal content and potentially some New World content sprinkled in. I've been playing that game a bit in my free time and enjoying it. But Eternal's still my main game. You'll still find me streaming it. I've been a little busy lately, but I haven't gone anywhere. I'm still here, still looking at all the spoilers and still memeing. So thank you guys for watching.